All right, what's up, everybody? This is Rance, aka Darth Lugia, and today I wanted to do a discussion about Nova and Ironheart and how they work together. So I played one game last night, so this is a very early, very early first impressions. And just want to discuss, should they be played together based on that single experience? Do they kind of butt heads a little bit? And just kind of talk about it because it was a fun game, and I have no problem discussing how it went down. So I played mostly with their pre-con decks. I did adjust a little bit. So for Ironheart, I took out Agent 13 because we already seen her, and one copy of Ingenuity because you don't need more than that. We put in a couple leadership cards, and then for Nova, I took out a couple copies of Chase Them Down because we've seen that card a bunch of times. And then there were a couple other cards that had three copies that I think only needed two. So I took those out, put in a couple allies, a couple other aggression cards that could help with Nova's kit. So besides those 7 cards in total that I switched out, I played their precons exactly how they came. So I think that Nova and Ironheart actually paired very well together. And this is why. With Ironheart, her entire gimmick is about starting off slow and then slowly building up to being an absolute powerhouse, just a dominating character. Whereas Nova has sporadic, huge turns, and his power level doesn't really increase throughout the game. I wouldn't say that. There aren't a lot of pieces you're wanting to get onto the table early. Obviously he has his support that shuffles in a world mind resource, but besides that, he's kind of a static character in terms of like he doesn't exponentially get better like Iron Man does or Ironheart or a couple of these other characters that you need these pieces out. He starts off pretty dang close to as good as he's gonna get, but so that's great. So what you want is your character that builds and your character that's constant. So these two heroes, if you buy them together, they can be played together in a pretty good, consistent way. Now, there's also champion allies that specifically Ironheart comes with that can be used by Nova, vice versa. There are cards that kind of support each other. One that I found really useful was the Champion's Mobile Bunker. You can draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards. You can get that effect to either character, either champion. And that was really nice. I really appreciated that option, right? As well, there were other cards as well that just buff each other that just had some good combos. So these two decks do work together pretty well out of the box. Again, I substituted a few cards because I want to optimize the deck more so than how it naturally comes. But if you're this far into the game, right, if you're buying these heroes, you probably have some of those other cards that I did substitute in. So while you have one that's building, right, Ironheart is building the whole time, and Nova is pretty constant, except Nova has these turns that just blow everything out of the water. Nova is, pretty okay for a lot of the game. And then as soon as you get the right combo pieces on the board, he explodes, and you have some of the funnest turns you have ever probably had in a game, Marvel Champions. So this is all about, he has a single cost event called Unleash Nova Force. And this card is nuts. What its effect does is every time you defeat an enemy or you take the last threat off a scheme, you get to ready Nova and draw a card. So I played against Ultron because going into it, I knew that both of their effects, both of their cards, got stronger by defeating enemies, clearing schemes, that there were extra bonus effects that happened if you did that. So maybe cheating on my part to play against a really good scenario. But with Nova, I had a turn where I was able to defeat, I think, 5 minions and just keep ready, draw a card, ready, draw a card, ready, draw a card. And then I was able to completely clear the threat from the scheme, able to summon 2 allies, and eventually kill the villain with Nova. And in fact, I was doing a standard run of Ultron as well, but I decided once I got through the standard to see because I killed him on a crazy turn, an incredible turn. I killed him. I still had 6 cards left in my hand because I was just attacking, drawing, defeating minions to draw, right? And I was like, okay, well, how long is it going to take me to kill Ultron? I was able to defeat Ultron all the way the next turn. I was still able to get him down to 14 health, right? Like with both Nova and Ironheart working together. On that turn, that I would have just won. But I just want to keep going. I was having fun. I decided to rush through the last stage of Ultron. So, since Nova's so consistent, consistent with these spikes of incredible turns, you can allow Ironheart to roll over, heal, put some progress counters on her, flip back over, and then start putting in work as well. As soon as Ironheart gets to version 2, a lot of people think that's when she's like an average hero. I would argue that she's actually above average because she has other cards in her kit that do more. For example, she's got 2 upgrades, one that they both give you +2 health, and one does damage equal to your version number, and one removes threat equal to your version number. And those, you just exhaust those once a turn, and they're there. They're just always there. Those are great cards, just at version 2. Then once you get to version 3, you got the game won, honestly. Like, there is a way to dig yourself too deep a hole and not come back from it. And again, this is my first playthrough against Ultron, which is a favorable encounter, but it was super freaking fun, and I was able to kind of blow through it pretty easily. So I would say that if you are concerned about their synergy, I think it is fair to say that since both of them benefit from clearing schemes and defeating minions, that they could at times be fighting for those resources, right? Well, I want to do the last hit. Well, I want to do the last hit, And if you're playing solo two-handed, which is how I usually play, it's fun to kind of talk to yourself, figuring out, okay, well, I really want Nova to get the extra card draw this turn, but I really want Ironheart to level up. I really want her to get stronger. And then even once she's leveled up, those progress counters do 2 damage once you're in version 3, right? So it is fair to say that they might be fighting at times to see who gets the last kill on a minion, who gets the last threat removed from a scheme, and so there might be a little bit of back and forth on them. So that is fair. But I would say, as a whole, buying these 2 packs together and then throwing them into scenario, right, to a campaign, I think it's a fun time. I think you would have a very solid fun time. Okay, so I did want to do just a quick, based off of one game, which one I like more. And I actually am really struggling because I knew that Ironheart was going to be amazing. I knew that I would love leveling her up. But Nova completely surprised me. I believe I got like 3 turns where I was able to do so much with him. And even if it wasn't the most impactful thing in the world, it felt amazing to just ready, draw. And again, this is against Ultron, so I'm going to take him tonight probably into a less favorable scenario, one that doesn't have a lot of minions. I'm going to do that, see how that works out. I'm sure it's not going to be nearly as good turn-wise for Nova. So I can't tell you which one I like better right now, even though I decided I wanted to try and talk about it. Ironheart is who I have more faith in for the long run. Nova is who completely dark horse surprised me. It was like, all right, Nova, you're way more fun than I gave you credit for. I apologize. Let's try this again. So, all in all, buy these 2 heroes, play them. They're great together, and I would highly recommend both of them. Okay, that's going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.